This is the main character of my comic book Champ's Rebellion, and like any superhero, Champ has a ton of villains. But because I made them almost 2 years ago, they're really bad, and if I ever want my comic to be great one day, I'm gonna need to redesign the 3 main villains of Champ's Rebellion, and take a deep dive in their backstories and make them the villains they need to be to give Champ a run for his money. And by the end, we're gonna have 3 fully redesigned villains and place them in one of the 3 villain archetypes. Are they a broken villain? A villain that does evil but because something that happened rather than just to be evil? Are they pure evil? A villain that does evil not because of what happened in the past but for the sake of being evil or because their beliefs? Or are they an anti-villain? A villain that does evil but has understandable reasons that make you question if they're right or not. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. First up, we have Kaisar. Kaisar is Roman's right-hand man and the Legion's second in command. Now, if you look at the version I made 2 years ago, there really isn't much to him. He's just basically a cold super soldier we knew almost nothing about. On top of that, I think his design looked too much like a Legate Lanius from Fallout New Vegas, so here's the new version. Kaisar grew up in a tribe that believed strength was everything. From the day he was born, he was trained to become a warrior, but there was one big difference between him and everyone else. He was born with super strength. And because of that, he started believing everyone around him was beneath him. And in a tribe where strength decided your worth, that belief only got stronger. And by the time he was 12 years old, he slaughtered his entire tribe because in his mind they were too weak to deserve to live. After that, he wandered the wasteland for years, eventually joining the Legion. The reason why he respects Roman is so much is because Roman never hesitates. Roman never doubts himself. To Kaisar, Roman is the perfect warrior. Even though Roman puts people into work camps and executes anyone that refuses to obey, Kaisar doesn't see that as evil. He thinks they deserve it. Because in his mind, the weak are meant to follow the strong, and if they can't, then they die. That's just how the world works. For that, I'll place him as a pure evil villain. I wanted his redesign to keep that cold soldier look while making him feel much stronger and more intimidating. I still want him to be the Legion's greatest soldier, and just with a design that will actually reflects that. And honestly, I think the fights between Kaisar and Champ and the rest of the crew will be some of the coolest action scenes in the series. Now let's move on to Roman. Looking back at his old design, he felt more like another soldier than the leader of the Legion. And also his design is really hard to draw. Maybe a species change. Instead of ape, he should be a human. And I'm going for more of a red and black color scheme for the Legion, so he should fit that. So let's get right into it. Everyone believes Roman is the strongest man alive, but that's only what the public knows. A long time ago, one of Roman's ancestors made a deal with a false god during a war they were losing. God gave him incredible strength, but also cursed him. From that day forward, the firstborn of every generation would become the strongest man in all of Hollow Earth, but no matter how powerful they became, they would always serve someone weaker. And that's the Legion's biggest secret. Roman isn't actually the one in control. Behind the scenes, there's someone only known as the head director. He's the one making every important decision. Roman just follows his orders. Roman's power is simple but terrifying. Every second that passes, he gets stronger. He doesn't have to train. He doesn't have to fight. He literally becomes more powerful just by existing. No matter how hard someone trains, Roman is always catching up. On top of that, he's mastered almost every form of martial arts, making him one of the deadliest fighters in Hollow Earth. But what I think makes Roman interesting isn't just his strength, it's in his entire identity depends on being the strongest and the perfect soldier. If someone were ever to surpass him, everything he believes about himself would fall apart. For the first time in his life, he'll experience doubt, and that's why I don't really see Roman as pure evil. To me, he's more of a tragic character, so I'll place him as a broken villain. I like this redesign way more. Now he actually feels like an emperor. He looks powerful, cold, and like someone people would actually fear. And the design is just easier to draw and looks way better. And I think his interactions with Champ could be really interesting because how different the two really are. Finally, we have the head director. Looking back at his old design, he looked way too much like Mechagodzilla. So maybe instead of being a lizard, I want to lean more inspiration of an alligator snapping turtle. I still like the idea of him staying inside a giant mech because it keeps that mysterious feeling. Even the highest ranking members of the Legion don't know who he really is. So keeping that in mind, let's get right into it. The head director is the smartest man in the world. He doesn't just believe he's intelligent, he knows he's the smartest man in the room. He's cold, calculated, always thinking 10 steps ahead. To him, Roman isn't a friend, he's a weapon. The Legion isn't a family, it's a tool. Every war, every battle, and every victory is carefully planned by him. He doesn't answer to anyone but himself, unlike Kaisar and Roman, who believe strength is everything. The head director believes strength is primitive and intelligence is absolute. But his biggest flaw is his arrogance. He believes everyone can be predicted, every choice, every action, every outcome. But the one thing that can never be calculated is someone who fights with their heart instead of pure logic. That's what makes Champ such a dangerous opponent, but the reason why he wants to control everything is because over 40 years ago there was a ruler over the entirety of Hollow Earth named Caesar, and he killed millions, wiped out entire states off the map, a conqueror known as the Frost King. So he feels like if he doesn't control everything and kill every threat possible, someone worse will rise from the ashes. So for that reason, I will place him firmly as an anti-villain. I think this redesign captures exactly what I wanted. Nobody knows who's inside the mech. It feels mysterious, intimidating, and powerful, which is exactly how I imagined the true leader of the Legion to be. These redesigns are still pretty early, and they'll probably keep on changing before the first issue of Champs Rebellion actually comes out. So if you're interested in seeing more of this world, definitely stick around. And let me know what you think of these redesigns and which villain is your favorite. And if you're making your own original characters too, or comic, I love to hear about them. And finally, a huge thanks to my co-writer and good friend at Fork333 for helping me bring Champs Rebellion to life. And I want to make this announcement here. I only have 4 characters left to redesign, and then I'm getting started on issue 1. So when that happens, I won't be posting as much as I do now. But I will keep y'all updated on every milestone I make along the way. If I finish a page, you will know. If I finish the script, y'all will know. And throughout, I will be streaming every week, so come and join the live streams. I look forward to seeing y'all there. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.